That was me dancing. How's the couch look? Does it look like hideous? Okay. What are you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Benji and Anthony here, and welcome to the bar for our movie reviews.
Welcome to October, my favorite time of the year, because we're going to be doing scary movies this whole month.
So we're going to do true horror films. Box office theaters right now don't have too much horror going on, but we want to give you something where you can just go home, see it with friends, see it with a significant other, family, things that really capture that horror-esque from the past, from the present, everything that's good from those.
We're going to do a good mix this month.
Yeah. So today we're going to be reviewing
A Nightmare on Elm Street. Came out in 1984 by the late great director, Wes Craven. He just passed away this year.
Yeah, so that's a great movie, great iconic monster character, Dream Eater, Freddy. How can you not love Freddy? So you know what? Let's get into it.
Every town has an Elm Street.
So, A Nightmare on Elm Street, pretty much a teenage horror film. We have a set of 4 friends, Nancy, Glenn, Tina, and Rod. This is the first time we get to see Johnny Depp. He does an excellent job as Nancy's boyfriend. Nancy is played by Heather Langenkamp. Kind of hard to pronounce her last name. But, so this movie is about dreams, child molesters, murders, and everything that you can think of it that's good in a horror film.
Yeah, so, they're dreaming about this creature called Freddy Krueger, of course, played by Robert Englund.
Mm-hmm.
Iconic Freddy. He will be the only Freddy ever to be Freddy. He has
new
face.
Remakes are horrible.
Exactly. So that's the cool part about it, that he's haunting their dreams because of something that happened in the past, of a secret of parents actually burning him alive in a boiler room that he had because of some of the crimes that he committed. So that's where it goes into, and this is where the horror starts coming in. Freddy Krueger is the most iconic monster. I don't even know what to call them in
one of the most
films.
iconic, because I feel we have 3. We have Michael Myers, Jason, and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, but he's one of the most iconic characters in horror films. I don't even know what to call them. Monsters, creatures, I don't understand. I wouldn't know what to call them. But this movie from the 80s was what horror was about. And now that we've seen it again, I do notice certain things that are happening in the sense of bad in the movies, because it's the 80s.
Cheesy or bad?
Cheesy and bad, because we see such great acting now, from certain actors that we see back in the day. And you could tell it was all planned, by numbers, like you said. It's something where you see a good example is when they're being chased and they're running looks all fake. And it's something where it just doesn't, it fits it, but it fits the genre.
But remember, it was a relatively low budget. $1 million is not a lot.
Exactly. So it's something where it's the 80s still, so this is when it films. But then you look at Star Wars, and then you're like, oh man, you can see what you could do.
Right.
But even then, the reason I love this film, the reason I think everyone should watch it, regardless of age or what era you were born in, is because this is what led to these great movies now. Without this, you wouldn't have a stepping stone.
These are
for
fundamentals.
The next. Exactly. Some of the favorite parts of the movie were the murder scenes. It was when they were dying, when they were being shredded apart. In the beginning of the movie, Tina, the when she's being scratched in her nightmare, and then she's being scratched in real life, they're dragging her on top of the roof. And a lot of movies nowadays use that, where they're being dragged on top of the roof. The blood, everything. I'm a gory kind of horror movie person. So that to me was that was amazing to me.
For me, this movie is hard for me to critique, because I love it so much. So I don't even know, I don't want to touch it in a way, because this scene in the beginning when they have the sleepover and Tina hears something outside, which I don't know why people hear something strange and then they go outside. I would be going the other way around.
That's every horror movie though.
So she goes out into the alley and she sees Freddy Krueger for the first time, and you see his arms being stretched out. That was creepy. And it looks cheesy now, but still the concept was creepy. Then she runs back into the house, and we think this is real life, but it's actually all a dream. And her boyfriend, Rod, played by Nick Corey, just starts freaking out because he sees her being literally ripped apart.
And then that's when the cheesiness kind of happens.
You thought it was cheesy?
None of it was cheesy, but in the sense of the acting part of them.
Well, his acting was a bit subpar.
It was weird, just screaming into the roof. And like
and not doing it. Wouldn't you jumped in if that was your girlfriend?
I would have grabbed her and tried to
Yeah.
woke him up. Yeah, like it was just something where it's like, were you that terrified? Because it didn't look like he was terrified. He just looked like he was worried, which was weird.
Or maybe he was high, which is another, rule of horror films. If you do drugs, if you have sex, if you drink alcohol, you're destined.
They drink coffee a lot. I don't know about alcohol. That was their main drug, was coffee and waking up pills. But yeah, like it's something, it is hard for me to touch it because, like as the movies are now, of course they've gotten better over the time because of, technology and all that, but you see it and it's so hard to kind of nitpick because you don't want to hurt that cult classic.
Right.
You don't want to destroy the gold of it, like the golden era of horror movies.
One of the things that I liked about this film, or the fact that the horror aspect is that you can't really touch him. He's in your dreams.
Exactly.
And yeah, you may stay up for a day. I've been up for, the longest I've ever been up for is for 26 hours. And I was exhausted after that. But imagine trying to be up for 7 days. Nancy says that she's been up for 7 days.
I don't even think it's possible. I think you die after 5 because your body just shuts down completely. Which I don't know.
I don't know. But like, can you imagine trying not to sleep? Because the moment you fall asleep, someone's going to kill you.
But she has, see, that I don't believe that because she has slept because she takes little naps here and there, which is still technically sleep. But, and that's the thing. Yeah, like I love that about it. At the end, you think she kills them, but it's kind of like, hey, I can never die. I'm a dream. You're dumb. I'm playing with you, kind of thing.
The ending was kind of a little let down for me because, like, oh, she just turned her back on him, and all his energy was like gone. I understand that, like, kind of like the way you do bullies nowadays, where like if you don't pay attention to the bully or if you don't give him power, his power is gone. I understand that, but when someone's killing all your friends and it's like choking them in cells, or I don't know, it just. Which
this is another gripe I have about it as well, is like when she tells her dad, come over in 20 minutes, please. She's on the window screaming, hey, can you save me? Oh, you're good, Nancy. Don't worry. Like
this movie is bad parenting 101 too. Exactly, like alcoholic mother, like father who really didn't care.
And the mom, Margaret Thompson, she just had horrible acting skills. Her facial expressions were always like, like it was just something where it's like, come on, you could do better than that. She was always sad. There was never a point. And you just need sleep. You just need sleep. Yeah, I woke up with scars all around. That happened when I was sleeping. Let me get some more sleep.
Right. It almost felt like Nancy had to take care of her mother throughout the whole film. Right?
And something that they noticed, like she only called her mother, but she called her dad daddy, which is weird. Like it was something where like, is this really her mom? Is it not her mom? Is it stepmom? Is it something where like they didn't have that connection with it?
Yeah, they never.
Something little that I caught. Maybe it means nothing, but
what about that whole iconic scene of when she's in the bath and you see Freddy's claw come up? That was pretty awesome.
That's one of the trailers, right? That was something that came out in the trailers. That was cool. Johnny Depp's death in this movie was amazing.
Probably one of the best ones, if you ask me.
Yeah, like that was all the blood. Nobody has that amount of blood. But that was a lot of blood, and it was funny.
It was like a tornado of blood, right? Like it was like a cyclone.
Yeah, it was like a volcano just exploding. But that was the cool thing about it. Like these scenes, goriness of the movies, that fear of never sleeping, the song, the theme song, the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
The nursery rhyme?
Yeah, I used to sing that all the time as a kid. And it was something where I feel like I watched these movies as a child. And a good thing is like, I watched a lot of horror films as a kid, as a very young kid, because that's what made me laugh. And I know that sounds weird. Am I crazy, right? But that's what made me laugh.
Not me.
Those movies were afraid. I wouldn't be afraid of these. And I think that's why I love these movies. Like they were trying to scare me. And yeah, there was little jump scares once or twice. But that's another thing. These movies weren't about jump scares. It was about literally making you fear.
These scares led you to something. There's a scene in the beginning where Nancy's in the classroom and she sees Tina in a body bag.
Why would you follow that, first of all?
So she starts getting dragged down the hallway and like bugs are coming out of her mouth. Like, wow.
Like, yeah, it's something where, like, you kind of question all of their moves, but that was a lot of horror movie. You always question stuff like that, but that's what's good about it. That's what makes it a classic. Without this, you wouldn't have movies like Don't Breathe. You wouldn't have movies like It Follows. Stuff like that where it gave them ideas. They used certain things like, in those movies.
And movies like Scream, where they reference all these rules that were set up in the 80s by these classic horror films.
Yeah, so that's why it's really good, and it's really hard to find it. And like I said, like the one thing maybe was just the bad acting in certain characters, the bad parenting. Like it was extremely bad, like too much bad parenting. Like it was structured to be that.
Right.
And that was the problem with it,
So
but
it seemed fake in a way?
It just didn't seem real. Like I get like bad parenting, but to that point, this was just literally written down and you follow the rules of how to be a bad parent.
never sleep again.
I'm a very big fan of this film, but what is your grade? I'm interested in hearing that.
My grade is an 8 out of 10. This is just a classic, cold classic film, and it's not even about the scariness of the movie. It's about the performance of Freddy, the performance of Robert Englund. The death scenes, the ideas behind it, the creativity behind those deaths were amazing, and I think that's what really caught my attention in the 8 out of 10 wise. But besides, if they just died normally, like they just got stabbed, stuff like that, this would have been an easy 6 or 7 to me, because it's just cheesy. But the creativity behind it, the way he comes out of the wall, kind of teasing there, like you said, the shower hand coming down, always not knowing if you were in a dream or not, because with Nancy, because she was so tired, you didn't know where she was, and I think that was amazing. I think that was the reason why I gave it out of 10. What about yourself?
I also give it an 8 out of 10. I'm actually surprised by your score.
Right?
I thought you were going to give it a little bit less. Right? We never agree. But for this one, we do. I feel the direction by Wes Craven is amazing. The acting by Robert Englund was perfect. The last time we had seen him was in V, which was like a made-for-TV miniseries, and he played an alien. And in this one, he just transformed himself. And actually, if you follow the 80s and I think into the 90s, maybe he is the only Freddy Krueger for me. This new remakes are horrible.
There is no other Freddy. He will always be Freddy. Everybody has, no matter who you try, even when you put on a mask, you look like you are Robert Englund if you dress like him for Halloween. And I think that was the real.
And the whole iconic red and green sweater, all these things just become so iconic, and you tie him into the Halloween feel, the whole genre of horror films.
Yeah, and I think from the grade that we're giving it, and from I honestly believe this, you need to go watch. Regardless if you're a fan of horror films or not, or the 80s, of how old you are, you need to watch it to see where everything starts, where everything becomes what horror is now. Hey, what's up, guys? Benji and Anthony here again, and thank you for joining us at TheB.A.R for the Nightmare on Elm Street review.
Join us next Wednesday. We'll be reviewing a fan-selected movie, The Craft, and we will also be bringing our very own screen-themed surprise guest.
Special guest, guys. Come join us for that. So hope you guys liked it again. The Craft is kind of like a teen witch movie, which it's
Clueless with witches. That's how
that's how we see it. Mean Girls with witches. There you
go.
That's something. The Mean Girls from the 90s. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. So go watch that movie. Let us know in the comments down below what you guys thought about Freddy Krueger. Do you guys like Nightmare on Elm Street? What were some of your nightmares that you've ever had that maybe kind of freaked you out when you woke up? So remember to like, comment, and subscribe down the bottom. Thank you for joining us at TheB.A.R again, and have a good one.